Hey, welcome to the road to human kindness. This is Route 664. I'm Wanda Miles in for Les Winston, who took an admirable spill on the highlight courts yesterday. He'll be back with you next week. But meanwhile, it gives me a special opportunity to highlight some of the music that we play here on Route 664.org, our radio station actually, where we play all of our conversations that we have gathered over the years, alongside wonderful music that makes you feel good about yourself and the world from all different genres. Your toes will tap, your heart will beat, hopefully continue to beat, and maybe a little bit faster. Visit us on Route664.org if you need any more information on how you can become a voluntary philanthropist. Visit us at socialcharity.org. Again, Les Winston will be back next week. Thanks again to the folks in Miami Community Newspaper for always making it possible for us to do this, and to you for being here every week. Meanwhile, this gives me a chance to play some wonderful music for you and get to introduce you to one of my favorite people, great friend, great musician, and a great friend and musician here in Miami, Oski Gonzalez. Oski's been around for a while. He wrote a song that I discovered. It's called Celebrate, and it's about, well, celebrating each other, celebrating life, and the love of humanity. That's what philanthropy is all about, and that's what we're all about, helping each other through the tax code 664. Philanthropy is the answer. Charity is the answer. Music is the answer. What's the question? Oh, why are you watching today? To meet Oski Gonzalez and learn how you can be a volunteer philanthropist and help your fellow man. This is Route 664. I'm Wanda Miles. Visit us if you like to learn any more about how you can become a voluntary philanthropist at socialcharity.org. Help your community, help yourself at Route664.org. Right now, Oski Gonzalez from the Oski Foundation. Oski Gonzalez of the Oski Foundation. Tell us about yourself, Mr. Oski, and how the Oski Foundation came to be.
Okay. My name is Oski Gonzalez. I am a music advocate, amongst other things. I'm a singer, a songwriter, an MC, a DJ. I love music, art, and culture. That's what makes me happy. I left school when I was 15 to become a rock star. I'm 54 and I'm almost there.
I think you're a rock star.
The Oski Foundation, when I was young, called the Latin Connection, TLC for short. It's myself, DJ E-Rex, and DJ Leo Love. We had two DJs and one rapper. I was a rapper. And we got signed to Henry Stone's record label, legendary Henry Stone.
Is that here in Miami?
It's Miami. Henry Stone. Just think of Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Do a little dance.
Bobby Caldwell. Actually, he was the first person to record James Brown. He just got inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And he had a record label in Miami called Hot Records after TK Records. Mm-hmm. That was the beginning of my music career. Was introduced to a gentleman named Joe Granda, who's a legend in South Florida. He produced a lot of groups, and one of the groups that he produced was Nice and Wild. They had a pretty big hit song called Diamond Girl. And it was Diamond Girl, you make me feel like I'm on fire when you are near. It's a big hit.
You're my diamond girl.
My father's a musician. He was a conga player, him and my godfather. My godfather was a piano player, and they played in Brooklyn in a lot of salsa bands, and they played with, Hector Lavoe and Tito Puentes and La Lupe and people like that, and played in Miami a lot. And my dad was hounding me about me being in a rap group and saying, you're a musician, why don't you start a band? And I was okay, let me start a band. And I read an ad in the New Times, in the back of the New Times, when the New Times was a very cool publication. I don't even know if they print them anymore. That they were looking for a lead vocalist for a funk band. Must Love, Jamiroquai, Marvin Gaye, and G Love. I had no idea who G Love was. I had no idea who Jamiroquai was, but I said, this is my opportunity to join a band. So I went to a CD store, a record store, when there used to be record stores, and bought all the G Love records I could find and bought all the Jamiroquai records I could find. I've loved Marvin Gaye my whole life and started listening to this music and blended the styles together. And that's the style that I have now. So at my first show was all the people from Inner Circle came out to see us. So imagine a bunch of dreads or, a bunch of Rastas with dreads, and they're all standing at us, staring at us, and they wanted to sign us to a deal. The deal didn't fall. The deal fell through over some creative issues with the leader of the band. Since I wasn't the leader of the band, I just had to sit there and suck it up. And then I decided to start my own band, which was the Oski Foundation.
Hey!
I had a residency at the Marlin Hotel on South Beach. We were playing every Saturday for like 6 months with the guys in Continental. And as soon as that dissolved, I met a young lady named Snow White, who's another legendary local DJ. She was doing a thing on Tuesday nights called Fatland, where it was poetry night.
Okay.
And they had a band that would back the poets, and they had MCs, and they had singers, and they had comedians.
Nice.
It was really, really an organic kind of night in the Marlin Hotel. And I met a lot of people, Steve Baker from Street Records, and it was a really fun time. It was very promising, and I was young, over 20 years ago, excuse me. And I was floating on a name. And Snow White actually is the one that gave me my name. At the time, I was very single and,
very single.
Had my entourage of ladies. And she said, wow, you have so many ladies. You got your own foundation. You got the Oski Foundation. And I said, I don't know, I like that. It sounds good. And I ran with it. And then as I started growing as a local artist and getting bigger and better opportunities, the name fit me really well because I would get shows and get opportunities given to me. And I knew bands that were just as good as I was. And, again, I'm a music advocate. I'm not a critic. I'm a fan of music. So I would give these bands opportunities. If I would dream about playing Tobacco Road. I never got to play Tobacco Road. I had already opened up for Cheap Trick and had done some pretty big events. But you gotta remember back then there was no internet, there was no emails and all that stuff.
There were cassettes.
There were cassettes, yeah. So I had went to Tobacco Road. I used to spend a lot of money there. I used to go there and watch the bands and study bands.
I have.
And there was a gentleman there named Mark Weiser who was the booking agent, and I brought him a cassette and said, hey, I spend a lot of dough here. I would love to play here, Show me some love. I've been showing you guys love for years. And he said, we don't do rap music. I said, don't look at me. Don't look at me. At the time I had my Kango, my gold chain, my big gold chain. And, I looked like Run DMC, whatever. And I'm like, don't look at me. It's rock and roll music. It's rock. He's like, okay, whatever. So I gave him a second cassette like 5 months later. Hey, did you listen to my cassette? He said, I told you we don't do rap music. I said, it's not rap music. It's rock. It's funk. We at the time we were calling it ghetto rock. I said, it's ghetto rock, man. It's cool stuff. And he wouldn't budge. So I came across a gentleman named John Tovar, who was Marilyn Manson's manager, also manager for the Mavericks, a country band out of Hialeah that's got.
I know the Mavericks.
And he was also managing Nuclear Valdez, which is a really popular group from South Florida.
Oh, yeah.
And he liked me. He's a big dude. I'm a big dude. He saw that I was charismatic and that I can control the crowd, and my music's pretty decent. So we signed a management contract. And he said, well, the first thing I want to do is get you into the studio And is there anything else you want me to do? I said, listen, there's a bar in downtown Miami called Tobacco Road. And I've been dreaming of, like, literally daydreaming of playing there. And he goes, and I said, he goes, oh, I know someone. I said, well, I've been handing this guy, Mark Weiser, my cassette. I had him twice. And he's not even listening to it. He's looking at me and he's just assuming by the cover of my book that it's hip hop. Yeah, I'm a hip hop head and I come from a hip hop background, but this is just rock music. This is rock. There's, instruments, jams, and these are rock songs. And so he says, don't worry about him. Forget about him. I know a guy named Danny Jessup. He does a Thursday night. It's like an entry level to Tobacco Road. You play Thursday night. If you do well, they'll bring you back on a Saturday or Friday, prime time. And I remember he called Danny in front of me and said, hey, I have a new artist that I'm managing. You're going to love this guy. His name is Oski Gonzalez. He has a really cool band. I just signed him 10 minutes ago. And funny is that his dream is to play at Tobacco Road. So he says, do you have an opening for him? He says, yeah, he can play this week. I said, no, that's too short of a notice. I said, I need at least a month so that I can ram the house and pack the house. I mean, I don't want to do nothing that's not going to be 100% packed. I said, give me a month and I can do it. So he said, sure. So my very first show at Tobacco Road, the place that I dreamt about, was September 9th of 1999. It was a Thursday. 99999.
Yeah, I got it.
And as you can see, if you look behind me, I have Tobacco Road posters and memorabilia all over the place. So my first show at Tobacco Road was Thursday, September 9th of 1999. We rammed it. I felt bad for the bands after us because we went up there and we packed the house. And lo and behold, I looked to the back of the room and who do I see standing there? Mark Weiser, the guy that wouldn't book me because he said, he doesn't, Tobacco Road does rap. Not. At the end of my half-hour set, he came up to me and said, man, that was really good. And his words was, ain't nothing wrong with that. I said, I feel you. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It's good stuff. He said, could you play 3 hours of music? I said, yeah. He says, do you have any covers? I said, what do you need? Oh, no. I would never sing a cover song. I know how to pen my own songs. Why would I want to sing someone else's song? That would not make me happy. He says, do you have a PA system? I said, of course I do. He said, do you want to play Saturday downstairs in the patio? I said, heavens, yes. And then him and Danny got into it for a little bit because he was like, yo, why are you coming here stealing my new guys? Let him play a couple of Thursdays, And Mark said he doesn't need to play any more Thursdays. We're going to put him prime time on Saturday, this Saturday. And that was the beginning of my dream come true at Tobacco Road. It may sound funny for other people, but it was seriously one of my dreams.
It's your dream, man. It's your dream. It's not other people's dream.
It was that I loved being there. The people were awesome.
Yeah.
The music was awesome. And at the end of the day, I was the one making that happen,
Let's talk about Celebrate. Did you write that one?
I did write Celebrate. I wrote Celebrate as my Kumbaya song.
It is a Kumbaya song.
I want to make a Kumbaya song. So I remember vividly that like a football stadium could hear it. I was thinking like We Will Rock You, like doom to chat to doom to chat to doom to chat to doom to chat. And I was thinking like that. You know, I had that.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. So I was thinking about that. And then I said, okay. And I'm like, we can make the world a better place. If we all just try,
we could feed the whole human race. If we all just try, and we could end our wars. If we all just try, no need to lock your door.
I sang the song over the phone to my producer and said, look, this is a song that I'm working on in Miami. And we recorded this song with Rat Bastard. I don't know if you know who Rat Bastard is. Rat Bastard is the sound man from Churchill's, legendary guy.
Okay.
He's in a band called the Laundry Room Squelchers. Spin Magazine voted them the worst band in America, and he wears that with honor. Yeah, can you imagine being the worst band in America? That's awesome.
Yeah, well.
So, and he said, "Hey, man, I want to record some stuff for you. Let's record an EP." And I'm like, "Well, how much is this going to cost me?" He says, "Absolutely nothing." So, I mean, I got about $25,000-$30,000 worth of recording for absolutely nothing, just on love, which is the way I like to record.
That's
I'd
kind.
rather make a lottery ticket. All right, so we'll make a song. If the song hits, everyone gets paid. And Rat Bastard recorded the song on South Beach at his condo, which was a studio inside of a condominium. And when we finished with the song, I sent it to my producer in New Orleans. And he took a listen to it. He's like, "You know what? I got a great idea for this. We should add a choir in it." I'm like, "Well, whatever you want to do with it, let's do it." So he reached out to a friend of his called Karen. She has a vocal training class where she helps and inspires young kids, young people to sing. And it's called Karen's Kid Voice Class, something like that. Karen's Kid something. And he auditioned 12 kids for it.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't have the heart to start picking the kids. I said, just pick them all. So we picked 12 kids, or more or less, to get on that. And he got them in the studio, and he recorded them. And then he sent me the recording, and it would sound beautiful. It made me cry the first time I heard it. And then he said, we need to shoot the video. And so we recorded the gist of the video there. He recorded the rest of the vocals at his studio called DPL Unlimited. And we shot the video. When we went to shoot the video, we had access to a Bible school. Full access to this whole, we could have shot anywhere we wanted. They were talking about shooting it in the chapel. I'm like, you know what, let's just shoot in the gymnasium and shoot in front of the church. And the video, the rental of the space, all the people cost absolutely not one penny.
All right.
So everything was done from God, by God, and for the people.
For the love of it.
Just for the love of it. It's so surreal that I have a family in New Orleans. The young people that sang on the record, they're teenagers now. They're graduating, from college, and they're graduating from high school. And it's so surreal when I see them, and whenever they post stuff, I always say, "You guys are my superstars. You're a superstar. You're a rock star." And
well, I think it should be our theme song, and I'd love to play it as much as possible. So I want to make sure I have your official okay.
You can play it. You can play it as much as you want.
All right, then.
I'm a big fan of yours. If you believe it or not, I'm a huge fan of yours. Mm-hmm. I'm an NPR kind of dude.
Hey, music and philanthropy is what's going to save the country, save this world. So
you know what? Okay, going back to the song, if you and I decided to flip a car, like this is the car, we needed to move it out the way, we won't be able to do it. But if 10 of us get the cars being moved,
if we all just try,
if everyone, I've always, me and my friends talk about this. I wouldn't mind if the government added a penny tax or a 1% tax and just said this tax right here is to give to the less fortunate. We can kill homelessness like this.
Well, we're working with the tax code 664, and I'll tell you more about that. Something everybody should be looking into, because then you can leave your money to charity, collect some money for yourself, collect your income as well. So Les is more adept at talking about that, and we'll probably give the show back to him at this point.
If everyone tried just a little bit, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
You don't have to try a lot, just a little bit. If everyone contributed a little bit, we can cure every problem we have in the world.
And then we all take care of each other. If we all just try just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Charity and Oski saving the world. Give me a date of the next show.
My next show is called Meadow Nights. Knights of the Round Table. It's going to be a tribute and it's going to be a celebration of life for a very dear friend of mine named Mike McSween.
Okay.
Who is very, very popular and very well known in the metal realm down here in South Florida. Really good guy, beautiful person. I was giving him a Lifetime Achievement Award, a Living Legend Award, and unfortunately, God called him before the event.
Wow.
So we still gave him the Living Legend Award because he's always going to live in our hearts. But on Saturday, July the 22nd at Bar Nancy, which is on 20th and Calle Ocho, we're going to have a heavy and hard night called Metal Nights. It's going to be top of the cream of the crop of South Florida's local metal bands. And it's all going to be like a celebration of life in honor of Mike McSween. I just spoke to his son this afternoon. His name is Mitchell McSween, and he's going to make a really nice design for the poster. And right. we already have too many bands for the show, so I don't like to upset people.
You have any contact information the people can?
Yeah. If anyone wants to come out to the event, or if you know of a metal band that would like to play, you can call me at my hotline, which is 305-303-3976. Or you can email me at djoski@yahoo.com. It's DEEJAYOSKI@yahoo.com. It's going to be at Bar Nancy. Bar Nancy is the closest thing that reminds me of Tobacco Road.
We can make the world a better place if we all just try. We could feed the whole human race if we all just try. And we could end all wars if we all just try. No need to lock your doors if we all just try. Just a little bit, 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 just a little bit. Let's all celebrate love and never hate, 'cause life would just be great if we all got along. Let's all celebrate love, never hate, 'cause life would just be great if we all got along. Just a little bit. We can make the world a better place if we all just try. All the kids would have a happy face if we all just try. And we could teach the world if we all just try. Every boy and girl, if we all just try. Just a little bit, 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 just a little bit. Let's all celebrate love, never hate, 'cause life would just be great if we all got along. Let's all celebrate love, never hate, 'cause life would just be great if we all got along.
together. Love each other, each one teaches one. We all really matter, this is for mankind. Your future and mine, bless the children of the world, say we'll love at a time.
Just a little bit, 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 just a little bit.